In this lesson, we'll talk about monosaccharides. Now we know that carbohydrates can be categorized into three major groups: monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides, depending on the complexity of these molecules. They also have that same general formula, having carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, in 2:1 ratio. So the formula CxH2OY. These monosaccharides are simple sugars. They are the simplest form of carbohydrates. They can be named or grouped according to the number of carbon atoms they contain in their molecules. So depending on that, there are different types. They can be named according to the number of carbon atoms they have. The first group is called triose. They have 3 carbon atoms in the molecule. So that is the simplest form of monosaccharides. For example, glyceraldehyde. The second group, tetrose, they have 4 carbon atoms in the molecule. The example, erythrose. And then the next one, pentose. So have 5 carbon atoms in the structure. Example, the pentose sugar, ribose, which is a structural component of ribonucleic acid, a nucleic acid. So the next group is hexoses. The most known compounds, most known examples are glucose, fructose and galactose. They all have the same molecular formula, C6H12O6. So here you can see the structures. If we take the glucose molecule, we can see there are 6 carbon atoms. We can see that these 3 compounds have the same number of carbon atoms, but they have different arrangements. All of them have hydroxyl groups, but with different arrangements. And in all 3 of them, we can see there is another functional group, that is a C double bond O group called carbonyl group. If we take glucose, we can see that carbonyl group is present in the first carbon, so it forms a CHO group, that is called an aldehyde group. These type of sugars are called aldose sugars. They have an aldose group as the functional group. And if we take the galactose molecule, again we can see the same arrangement, carbonyl group in the first carbon, so it is also an aldose sugar. But in fructose, carbonyl group is present in the second carbon atom, so it forms a keto group. This type of sugars are known as keto sugars. So some hexoses are aldose sugars and some hexoses are keto sugars. This functional group is seen in other monosaccharides as well. If we take the trioses, tetroses and pentoses, the examples that we saw, all of them have the aldose functional group. So they are aldose sugars. Now if we summarize about the monosaccharides, monosaccharides are the simplest form of sugars. They have carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in the as like in carbohydrates they have CHH2O white molecular formula. These monosaccharides can be named according to the number of carbon atoms they have: trioses, tetroses, pentoses and hexoses. And based on the functional group there are two types of monosaccharides. Some of them are aldose sugars. They have an aldehyde group as the functional group, but some of them are keto sugars. They have a keto group, a ketone group as the functional group. So that's about monosaccharides. Next, in the next lesson, we'll discuss about disaccharides.